celebrations of all kinds, auction donations, and by businesses to reward employees for outstanding service, employee incentive programs, and employee bonuses. Chamber Bucks stay in Chihuila and are honored at more than 45 local businesses. Chamber Bucks are the same as cash and are available in multiple denominations. Chamber Bucks are available at the Chihuila Chamber office at 401 South Park Street, Tuesday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information, visit the Chamber website at chihuila.org or call Sandy at 509-935-8595. The Chihuila Chamber of Commerce has approximately 200 members and supports businesses, nonprofits, tourism, and economic development in the Chihuila area.
And by
the Rusty Putter Bar and Grill.
The Rusty Putter Bar and Grill at the Chihuila Golf and Country Club is now open 7 days a week. You can dine indoors or out on the patio. Friday features steak and seafood, Saturday features Italian food, and Sunday features a brunch until 2 p.m. The complete menu is available at ChihuilaGolf.com and takeout is available. For more information, call the Rusty Putter at 509-935-6807, extension 4. For the month of August, the Rusty Putter will be open from 8 a.m. until 8:30 p.m., 7 days a week.
This is KCHW 102.7.
What? Shh. People can hear you whispering. It's okay. All right, I got that urge to say good morning, but that'd be all kinds of wrong. It's KCHW 102.7. You got Scott Allen in the studio in the afternoon. I know it's strange, but we're going to do one of my favorite things. Presented by the Trails End Gallery. It's Art on the Radio. Thank you, Mr. Tim Nielsen. Welcome back to the studios.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, little Art on the Radio. And our guest today, you're going to be able to see her tonight and tomorrow night. She's going to be hanging out in Chihuila for a couple days. Amalia Fisch, right?
Yes.
Right. All right. How you doing this morning or this afternoon, Amalia?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
All right. And you had a little journey to Chihuila?
I did, from Spokane.
All right. Have you visited Chihuila before?
I have, actually, various times.
Various times.
Yeah.
All right. So have you been to one of Tim's art shows before?
I have. I've been to a talk and shows and participated in Winterfest a couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So, Tim, before we talk to Amalia, let's get the rundown on what's happening tonight and tomorrow night and the times.
Okay, tonight, 6:30 to 8 at Quartzsite Brewing. We have Amalia's Art Talk.
Okay.
And we say 6:30. It usually starts maybe around a little bit before 7. We wait for people to come in and grab some beverages and get settled in.
Okay.
Have a nice social evening about it. And then sometimes we open the gallery afterwards for people, if there are out-of-town people who won't be able to make it to tomorrow's open. So that's nice. And then...
so what do they have to do? Do they have to come up to you and say, Tim, please open the gallery tonight?
No, I just ask. I just see if anyone,
If enough people want to come over?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And then tomorrow night, first Thursday, of course, in August. And doors open at 5:30 to 8. So it'll be Amalia's show at Trails End Gallery. There's L. Brown, Bonnie Cazier at the Mountain Street Market, the McCunn Gallery.
And that's the new one where the Catholic school used to be, right?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes. And then there's Mark Maxwell, who's got some pieces at Quartzsite and Sporties.
All right. So some bar hopping in there, too. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, Amalia, let's have you tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Spokane, and is art your primary work? Do you do other things?
Yeah, I'm a full-time artist.
Okay.
I have a couple of studios in my home. I do watercolors and oils primarily. And I've been in Spokane since 2007 when I moved there from Seattle. I had been in Seattle for about 20 years.
Okay.
Originally, I'm from Argentina, where I was born.
I hear a little bit
Yeah.
of an accent, yes?
Yeah, and I just spent 2 weeks with my family from Argentina, so I may slip up and say a Spanish word.
Okay, just as long as it's a clean one, okay?
Oh, yes.
All
it'll
right,
be a clean
all
one.
right. And then more toward the top of the microphone up toward
Yeah.
the top of it there. Okay.
Okay.
And you feel free to use your outside voice.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just picking on you.
Good.
So you've got your full-time artist. That's got to be a challenge, yes?
Yes. I mean, I love what I do.
Okay.
And I get up in the morning and I go straight to my studio, and I'm always full of ideas and paintings to paint. And I just put my work out there and hope for the best, hope that people like it. And I'm always extremely happy and feel very proud when someone chooses my work,
Yeah.
because there's limited amount of money that we have, to spend on art.
Sure.
And when someone chooses to purchase mine and live with it, it means a lot.
It
So,
feels good inside,
yeah,
right?
it sure
Right,
does.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a combination for anything. You do websites and you compete with other people and hope they like your designs better and go with you. So
Yeah,
same kind of thing.
absolutely.
All right. So is this primarily you're doing stuff and you're putting out in the community and hoping it sells? Are you doing commissioned work? How does that go?
I do commissions. I enter competitions. I paint and show my work in shows that I get invited in. I am pretty active on social media, and I like posting to Instagram and showing my process, which I really enjoy, watching other artists do their work. And social media has been so great for artists. It's both intimidating because you really see the amazing work that is out there, whereas before, you just lived in your head, and whatever you saw at a gallery locally is what you thought about. And now it's
different.
It's different, and I don't have a lot of followers, but I post because I also like to document my process for myself and seeing how my art evolves over the past few
You've
years.
got a chronological.
You do, and
Yeah.
it's great. And I do have a website, but the website charges you over a limit of images, and so you have to be like more, curated in what you put on your website. But Instagram is great because you can put.
You need a new website host.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all I'm
I
telling
like
you.
the one I have.
Okay.
I just it works fine. I just can't put everything on it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of a different one. Well, most places don't charge you by the more you add to your website, just so you know that.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's your process. Do you have any luck selling on social media?
I do actually.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's kind of a venue. I wonder if, we've had some artists that have come through for the shows that aren't very social media or computer oriented, and they could be missing out on a lot there, maybe. Huh?
Yeah, there's, a lot of artists are even choosing to do social media over galleries. First of all, there's not a lot of galleries. We're super lucky to have Trails End Gallery
We
here in
are.
Chihuila. Yes, we are. And Tim has wonderful shows. But in Spokane, there aren't a lot of galleries. There was one, I can't remember, the Linda Knight, I think, or Lorinda Knight. I can't remember because it was right when I moved to Spokane, and then it closed after the 2008. At least that's my memory of it. And but now you have social media, and I guess there's a way to work it. I'm not really good at doing that. I will admit that it's not my favorite. I just post it, and then people contact me if they're interested in my work. So.
All right.
So far, so good. No complaints.
I am glad to see that you're making money that way, though. That's
Yeah.
awesome that you can post and people will buy
Yeah.
that way. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us, how did you get started in art?
Well, I knew that I wanted to be an artist when I was a teenager. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in depth in my talk tonight at the
Don't
brewery.
ruin it all
I won't
for
ruin it
everybody,
all.
yeah.
But basically, when I graduated high school, I went to Argentina, and I stayed there for 3 years, and I studied with a contemporary artist there. And it was a very academic instruction, which I think was great for me and what I was interested in. And then eventually, after 3 years, I decided I actually wanted a degree. So I moved to Seattle, and I applied at Cornish College of the Arts, and I got in. And then I eventually got my degree from the University of Washington. And then I had,
Woohoo!
yeah, go Huskies. And then I graduated with a debt, of course, of anybody. It's not as bad as it is today. I mean, this was in the late 80s, and it was still a substantial amount of money. And so I worked corporate jobs, and I was lucky. I worked at an art publisher and had a great time, and I traveled. I went to Europe. I did all these great things. But I stopped doing my art for a long time.
It's hard when you work 40 hours a week and bring your job home with you.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. And then I decided to pick it up again in the late 90s, early 2000s. And that's when I started. I started just painting at home again and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I got my degree in printmaking, but I was painting in oils because I don't have a press at home and I didn't have access. I also taught some printmaking on the east side of Seattle, and that was pretty great. And then when I moved to Spokane, I moved here with my 2-year-old and my husband. And then as Owen got older, that's my son, I decided to start painting again, and that's what I did. And seriously, I have to say, 2016 is when I really decided, you know, too much time has gone by. This is what I really want to do with my life now that, you know, that he doesn't need me as much. And that's what I'm doing. So it's been 5 years of full-time art.
I'm at that age, too, and you hear so many people that say, you know, the kids are out of the house. I get to do what I want now. Or they're getting close to, you know. By the time they hit teenagers, they don't even want you around.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
All right, Tim, will you do me a favor, and will you go kill that big fan?
Yes.
It's causing a lot of background noise and a little echo there. All right. So go on. I want to hear more. So what are some of the things you've done more recently, maybe even pre-COVID? Because that had to be kind of a wall for artists, right?
Well, when I decided to pursue the full-time art thing, I had to sort of learn to get back on the horse because it had been so long since I had painted. To find your voice, your style, you know, I wasn't doing printmaking, and that's a completely different approach to making your work. And I stumbled upon watercolors, and I found out that we have a watercolor society in Spokane, which I immediately joined. And I met some wonderful people, some of which are dear friends, and they live here in Chihuila. And so I started doing that, and I started entering competitions, and I was pretty successful. And one thing led to the other. The more, you know, at first when you enter competitions, it's very daunting, especially when you get rejected. It can feel really bad. Ooh. But the more you enter, you get accepted into some, and then you get rejected, and it doesn't feel like the end of the world. It feels like this is just part of the deal, you know? And so now I do it. I'm pretty fearless about it, and I get in sometimes, and sometimes I don't, and I still continue with my goal, which is to paint and produce as much as possible. I'm pretty prolific. I have so many years to make up for. That's what I feel internally. I feel like, you know, I think about one of the things that I do is plein air painting. And plein air painting, for your audience that may not know, is basically painting outdoors. You set up your easel and you paint what is before you. You're trying to capture the light or the atmosphere or, you know, whatever. And it is really difficult to do plein air painting because the light changes really fast. You're getting attacked by mosquitoes. You get some lovely or not so lovely comments from the public. I mean, it is hardcore.
Where are you painting at?
It is hardcore. And what was I going to tell you about the plein air painting? Well, I don't remember. I don't remember what I was talking about. Sorry.
That's all right. Shadows, mosquitoes on the mat.
Shadows, mosquitoes. Yeah. I remember now. So when I mentioned earlier that in my corporate job I had, you know, been sent to Europe, and I think about, oh God, I could have plein air painted in the countryside and, you know, wherever. And so I think about stuff like that, which isn't really helpful. But I'll get out there again and paint the English countryside. And
there you go. Every fifth painting sale, put it in a jar. Try to get enough money to go to England.
There you go.
That's
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Plus, it's a great way to hide it from the IRS.
Well, our first Winterfest, which was 2 years ago,
okay.
Amalia entered, and she had found out through water, through Gail Johannes and some
Yes.
other Margot Setti and people who are from Chihuila who paint. And she won Best in Show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I got applause for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was, Dave Anderson, good painter,
yeah.
acrylics and
Not a very nice guy, though.
and a sculptor and
I hope he's listening.
there was quite a variety of art in that show, and I just thought it was awesome. And she got Best in Show, and I went up and I asked her about having a solo show after that. I wanted her for a show.
And then you go, yes. No?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I am a huge believer that when an opportunity is presented, you just go for it.
All right. So how many paintings have you brought to Chihuila? I'm kind of curious.
A lot.
I think the initial conversation with Tim was, oh, how many pieces do you want? And he said, 25, 30. I think I brought 51 pieces.
Sounds about right.
And and I really, I thought about sort of doing a retrospective myself of my own work over the past few years, and really different styles, different mediums, and I just really wanted to show who I was. And this may be the only solo show I have, so I really wanted to, to do a good job.
What are the different mediums that you paint in?
I paint in watercolor, in oils, in acrylic. I do graphite drawings, sculpture, and I would very much like to do encaustic, which is working with wax, and I would like to do ceramics eventually, but not now because I have plenty on my plate. But, every medium, at least my experience, is that I paint differently with each one. I like the things that I've been doing with acrylic lately, which I just picked up. It's very different because it dries so fast. And you can do collage, and you can sand your work, and you can do all sorts of stuff that with oils, I wouldn't really do that because it takes so long to dry, and then I'd be too afraid to like ruin it after, and I have to wait forever again. So acrylic is really immediate. It's really vibrant. I just really have enjoyed it. But I love oils as well. I just came back from Hood River a couple of days ago where I participated in the Pacific Northwest plein air event that Mary Hill Museum puts on. And I painted. I took everything painting with me, which was, I wouldn't advise it. It was a lot of stuff. But I wasn't sure what I wanted to paint when I was there. That's like the downside of having a lot of mediums that you paint in. And I ended up doing 4 small oils, and I really like them, and I actually will show pictures of them at the talk tonight.
I like them.
Yeah, I liked them quite a bit, and so that was great.
So now what typical are your, we're going to see a few of them here in a couple of minutes, and that's just a reminder if you want to log on to our, the KCHW Facebook page, our website, or YouTube, you can check out some of these paintings. So what are your favorite things to paint? Outdoors, animals, little of everything?
No, I would say I really love landscapes, both in plein air or from photographs I've taken, in both watercolor and oil. With the acrylic, I've been doing more objects. I've been doing birds, bird cages, the idea of home. I think this series came up during last year, being at home due to COVID, and I think it's a logical, expression of what was happening. So a lot of my current work is images of houses in a space.
Painted every house in your neighborhood because you were bored?
That's actually not a bad idea.
And then go to the neighbors and go,
Yeah.
I made this for you. Thank you.
So I did those. I do, I paint in my sketchbook a lot, and I gather inspirations, and I'm always thinking and trying to do something different. One of the things that I'm talking about today in one of the images that I'm showing is when I first started watercolor, and this about 2 or 3 years ago, I love Polaroid pictures, and you know how you get that funky yellow kind of streaking through them that if you try to do it, you can't get it to do it. I started painting some landscapes as a Polaroid.
Oh, cool.
And I did a series, and I love them, and they did all sell, so I have none. But I want to do larger pieces of that. And even though I did it 2 years ago, there's a lot more that I could do with it, you know. And so I think about stuff. I want to do things that excite me, and hopefully it'll excite someone who sees the work.
When you painted those, did you actually do them with the white border around so it would look like a Polaroid?
No.
Okay, there's an idea.
Yeah, there is an idea. I'll
Just to
credit
confuse
you when
people.
I do that.
Okay, please. Commissions. I like commissions. All right. Share this with us. So maybe your what you felt was one of like your crowning achievements in art. It might be a tough one.
Well, I have a crowning achievement for me when in 2018 the Junt Art Museum in Gonzaga did a call for art. So they put a call out to the public that they were going to do a contemporary landscape show. And I hadn't been painting in oils for a long time, and I decided that I was going to do a painting and submit it. And so I did. I submitted 3 paintings. 2 of them got in, and I won first place.
Nice.
Which
Wow.
was,
Oh, you gave me goosebumps.
it was,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I screamed and jumped so high at home because, you know, and the neat thing about that is when you get judged by your peers, it has, for me, such a great meaning because these are artists that that see the work, that are looking at it,
and they're respecting it and
they're
enjoying
respecting it. And then I was able to talk to one of the people, one of the judges, and the things that she said about my piece, I still remember them because they resonated with her. And so that was huge for me, and it gave me the confidence to go forward because I was just starting and I wasn't sure if I had something to say or, you know, I had invested so many years and so much money in my education, and here I am, you know, 2 decades later, and I couldn't remember anything, and I didn't know, you know, if my oils were all dried up, and you know, it was just like not the easiest thing to do, but I did it, and I'm really happy that I did it.
Now, do you find that when you're going to take pictures of a landscape that you want to paint, that you've also got to have some mad photography skills? I mean, is that critical to you, or do you just try to get a shot of it?
Well, you know, when I started originally taking photographs was before this last painting that I've been doing. I had a child, and so of course I went out and got a DSLR, and I was photographing everything, including beautiful landscapes. Something that I learned is that painting from photographs is tricky because the camera, and I'm not a photographer, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it really darkens the shadows. You read them as one big, you know, shape, as opposed to in real life when you're doing it plein air. You can actually see that there's, you know, a nuance to it. There's different color temperatures or different colors, and so it is kind of tricky.
I would think it'd be tough because in just, I'd say I'm an amateur photographer and I got a couple cameras, but it's hard to get a picture that looks like what you saw.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying there.
Well, the other thing that's really interesting with photography is when you take a camera, a photo, the camera pretty much puts everything in focus. You know, unless you are manually doing it. But let's just say you put it on autopilot and then it does it. When you are looking, so if I'm looking at you, I'm focusing on you and you are in focus, but everything else is blurry. And so when you're painting from a photograph and you're doing every blade of grass perfectly, I can totally see how that doesn't read as real. I don't know how to explain it. Sure. I do that too, and I like it. You know, it's just different. And there are, you know, artists that can look at a painting and say, this was painted in plein air, or this was from a photograph. I can't do that, but I know that some artists do that.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So I've got a picture of your current painting, the first one up, and then I've got a little box of you so people can see you talking too, okay? So go ahead and tell us about your first painting, and then Tim's going to play Vanna White and swap them out for us. So now, do you title them all?
I do
Okay.
title every painting, and I'm really bad. My memory is not very good, so I don't even remember exactly.
This one's Melange.
No, that's the name of the show.
So it is?
That's the name of
Okay.
the show. The name of this one, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of this one. But what was it called? Do you remember? No. It's on the poster. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. Titles aren't like super important to me. To some artists it is. Outskirts. There you go.
Okay.
So I did a series. This is a mixed media piece, which means that I used different mediums to create this piece as opposed to just one. And it's watercolor, gouache, acrylic ink on paper that I then glued to wood, and then I did cold wax on top to seal it.
Wow.
And so that's what it is, and it's
What's
framed.
gouache?
Gouache is kind of an opaque watercolor.
Okay. For us laymen.
For his yeah. And gouache is great.
All right. So kind of like a tiny house in the woods?
Tiny house in the woods.
All right.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead, Tim.
Okay.
You got to stay on top of it, too, so the pace keeps going there, Tim, or you're going to lose your job. All right, I'm going to zoom out so we get a better shot of this one. All right, tell us about this next painting.
This is another painting that I did right before the show. This is a mixed media with acrylic, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where I paint, I scrape, I sand, I do transparent washes on top, and then I love doing drawing with a dip pen, and I dip it in acrylic ink, and I love doing that. I also don't remember the title of this piece, but it is, I think, a 12 by 12 mixed media piece.
All right, and what was like the inspiration for this one? Because I see like a row of houses down below, and then maybe a kite up in there, and some.
It's flowers.
It's flowers.
Yeah,
okay.
it's
All right.
to
the little blue one. That's what
I
on my
can't-
view here. I thought maybe it was a kite.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, this stuff is really. I just. I don't know how to explain it. I am at my table. I'm working, and it comes to life. You know, you look at it from a place of design elements. Is it working? What does it need? Things like that.
Okay. All right. Now, was that one painted from a photo?
No.
Okay.
None of these were.
I didn't think so.
Yeah,
No.
none of these were.
All right. Keep going, Tim. All right. And what year did you start painting seriously?
Well, this last time after my break, 2016.
Okay. All right. This looks like something we'd see out in the Palouse.
Yeah. This is, actually it is in the Palouse from a photograph that I took.
Your camera back.
Sure.
And this is watercolor on paper that I mounted to a piece of wood, and then I did the cold wax on top to protect it. Usually watercolor is hung traditionally under glass, and there's a new way that you can present watercolors, which is to put that wax on top, and it protects it so you can hang it like an oil painting, and I really like it.
I love the colors in that one, and if you're looking at it online with us, the online webcam does not do it justice. I turn around and look at it, and it really pops. I like that.
Yeah.
So is that acrylic pen and ink?
No, in this
On the
case,
line?
this one is just watercolor.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the little lines?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't never noticed that much definition in a watercolor painting before, so good job. I mean, it is like you even stumped him, so.
Well, I was just curious how you could do that with the dark color, and then I'm assuming you go back in with the wash, or do you?
So usually the way a lot of these that I do, I also do the micron pen, which is a Japanese really small nib, and I love to do the outlines on that. So I either use,
And those are watercolor?
and those, well, yes, but I do it at the end after I do my painting. And I either use a very small brush or I use the micron pen to do the ink work, or the nib that I was talking about.
All right. I think that one's going to be a popular one tonight. You might sell that one just because we're kind of close to the Palouse and stuff. I don't know.
A lot of people looking at it.
All right. So you said how many paintings for tonight? 51.
51.
And how many days did it take you to hang all those, Tim? Just one day. All right.
He's
all right.
an expert.
He's getting used to it from all
Yeah,
these
he's
shows
an
he's been
expert.
doing. It's amazing how he transforms his space.
So this is one of my favorite paintings that Tim is putting up now. I did this one in plein air in Chihuila, and it's I went out painting with Margot Setti and Gail Johannes, and we painted. They're great because they have friends here and they let us paint on their property, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful day painting, and I did that one. So that one was done on the spot.
All right, and right here in Chihuila too, huh?
And right here in Chihuila. Yeah.
It looks like you did that during fire season. No, I'm just kidding. Because
It's
the
always
shadows.
fire, yeah,
It's
right.
always fire season.
It's
Because
always fire
they look
season.
misty.
Well, I like that one because it's so atmospheric.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
which I think is really watercolor was made for that.
Yeah,
All
right.
those
Yeah.
thousands of gradations and
Yeah.
yeah.
It really gave depth to the mountains behind it and the layers of it. I like that.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thanks.
Very nice art, Amalia. Very nice.
Thanks,
All right.
Scott.
So let's run down where we're going to catch you tonight, of course, at the Courtside Brewery between
6:30 and 8.
and 8. All right. And then Thursday Art Walk, you'll be at the Trails End Gallery from 5:30 to 8 p.m. All right. And good luck.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anything you wish Scott would have asked you that he hasn't?
No, you did awesome.
All right.
Thank
all right.
you.
I am just so happy that we're able to do this again
Yes.
and have the talks at the brewery. An artist talk, I can't emphasize this enough, is so valuable for people to get that narrative. Even myself, I love it. I feel like I've got insight, and then I get to go back in and look at the work in a different way. You build a connection with it, and I think that's how you find new ownership for art, is to build that narrative and have people connect with it and go, I love that, and I think of the works that my wife and I have bought, and we bought the artist narrative. We've met almost every artist of pieces that we've bought. There's a couple we haven't, but we've,
Well, when
And it
you
makes
do
a
it this way,
difference.
I think, from a layman's point of view, when you do it this way, and art costs money, okay, and you're going to make that investment in something that you truly enjoy, to have the ability to have met the person that painted it and what their inspiration is, because obviously it moved you because you want to buy it. That is a great connection. I think it is, and it'll make you appreciate that piece of art even more throughout the years.
Oh, and it's a good fit to our culture of art in the community as well. The artists talk, First Thursday, the Creative District, all these things coalescing. I think it's awesome. I mean, on my radar, what I would really love to see, and I'm going to collaborate with the McCunns on this, is a plein air festival. And I just think it would be fantastic. There's so many, I think there's a lot of really cool places around town. And I don't know 100% how they work, if they give like certain locations that you go to paint or whatever, but it just sounds like an awful lot of fun to me, and it's become a real big thing for painters.
Well, as long as we don't go back into some kind of weird shutdown because of, crazy strains and stuff, I really want to push Jeff on Thursday nights, his Thursday night show. He really, before COVID, he came up with this idea of bringing in an artist to paint to music while he's doing his show, and everybody's touring around town, and they could drop through and, tour through the radio station and watch this person painting to music and stuff. And I just thought that one was kind of fun, too. And I'm going to push him to continue that and get on it and get on your list for that, too. All right, side question. Through the lockdown, that had to be kind of tough for the gallery. I know you were still bringing artists in and stuff. Just out of curiosity, how did that go? That had to be tough.
Yeah, okay. We didn't sell as much art. Strangely, I had a great year selling jewelry, but we made it work. I let people know that, hey, if you're crowd averse, come in during the day, and I actually had a lot of people take me up on that, and the gallery to this day now, I get probably 2 to 5 people a day. When I first opened, I would get 2 to 5 people every 2 weeks. And people are coming in to look at the show, and had 2 people before you arrived, Amalia, that came in from Spokane, and they were shocked to find this show in the first place. So that's always fun. The gallery presents well, and it really presents well when you've got a show like this. And it's just a lot of fun. I just feel like the gallery is getting traction. Okay, yeah, traffic was down, and I think maybe the challenge during COVID was the fact that we couldn't have an art talk, and that shows me how valuable that is. But we would still have opens, and people would mask up and come in, and we'd get 45 people through the night, and everybody was courteous and respectful, and it worked. All right. And we did sell art. We did sell art, but I'm sure it would have been different. I mean, prior to the shutdown, the Winterfest, we had 100+ people through there the night of the open, and it was people like it. It's a nice social event, seeing art. It's a fun cultural event.
No, and I love the gallery. I love dropping in there. I usually save it till last so I can have a cocktail.
I was just going to say something there. Is there any beer left? Yeah.
All right. Thank you again, Mr. Tim Nelson, Trails and Gallery, for bringing us a wonderful artist. Amalia Fisch tonight between 6:30 and 8 at Courtside Brewing. The Art Walk tomorrow. First Thursday Art Walk, 5:30 to 8 downtown Chihuila. Of course, you got the Trails End Gallery. Then you, Bonnie, I'm going to say your name wrong, Kazier?
Kazier.
I'm
not sure.
Oh, wait, what's French? Bonnie Kazier. All right. Ella Brown, and they are at the McCunn Gallery at the Mountain Market on Main. That is the, in case you haven't heard about that used to be the Catholic school. It's awful cool. They remodeled that. And let's see, Mark Maxwell at Sporties and Quartzsite. Thank you very much for making this all possible, and good work and hanging in there, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
Big round to be back.
Big round of applause for both of you, and we'll see you tonight at the brewery. There you go. Get out and support the arts happening here on the radio. Might as well give this a little tease. 6 o'clock, we've got bluegrass music. And then at 8, it's our live show tonight. Doug McQuain comes in and brings you down a trip of the Dirt Road Blues. Check it out between 8 and 10. And then it's Paranormal Talk Radio on your radio, all here on KCHW 102.7.